Imagine, just imagine if we gave you a way to blast through your repressed emotions that are causing stress, causing false identities, and debilitating your ability to self-protect. Hi, my name is Carol Serby and I'm with the Omineca Healing Institute, where we are releasing trauma and disease that is triggered by repressed emotions. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Today we're talking about how repressed emotions impact the body. Specifically, I think I put passion, drive, energy, and commitment. So there's a lot of new science coming out, and one of the forerunners that are publicly talking about this body of work is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's got an older book called The Biology of Belief, and he's got a new one out called Spontaneous Evolution, and I'm actually just in the middle of that book right now. But it's really interesting as a scientist how he's starting to map and correlate and understand and confirm all these kind of spiritual, esoterical based ideas, how he's able to monitor cells and microbes and so forth in a petri dish and correlate the information that we already intuitively know through the spiritual realm, and he's correlating it and starting to provide real scientific based evidence regarding how we have complete and total control over how our genes, sorry, not quotation mark genes, but how our diseases that are locked in our genes through hereditary, how our environment, how we grow up, thoughts and limiting beliefs that we have actually play a huge role in how that hereditary disease shows up for you or not. So some really interesting kind of cutting edge kind of stuff that's starting to hit mainstream, and it's really, really interesting how we're really starting to take that whole metaphysical, spiritual stuff that we've known intuitively through the ages and really starting to correlate it scientifically and starting to see how all this stuff actually works. So today we're here to talk specifically about repressed emotions and how, through understanding some of the science of it, they actually do affect your passion, your drive, your energy, and your ability to commit. So repressed emotions can cause stress. So what is a repressed emotion? I guess should be the first question. So repressed emotions usually are a result of some form of trauma. Now let's just quickly redefine trauma. I've actually done a whole live on this. So trauma is anything that kind of gobsmacks you, anything that makes you on a subconscious level think that you might not survive. So depending on your age and depending on what your experiences are, that is a whole gamut of things that is different for every person. So, you know, being in a war-torn country and participating in that might be very traumatic for some people and maybe not so much for others. Having your teddy bear taken away from you when you're a year and a half old and he provides all the safety and comfort that you thought you ever needed, that might be really traumatic for some people, might not be traumatic for others. So how you get to trauma is a very, very, very personal thing that happens. So what actually happens is we get ramped up into this event, right? We ramp up into the event, and then there's a climax of the event. Right here. There's a climax. So what we actually do at climax or trauma event, ground zero, we actually lock our system at ground zero -1. So like 1 second, 5 seconds, a moment before the apex of the trauma, we actually take all our emotions, we take our overwhelm, and our body, trying to protect us, doing the thing that it's designed to do, locks it away. Okay? Depending on how big the impact is, you may remember it, you may not. So that's how all of this works, okay? So again, very different experiences for every person. And that's where someone like me comes in, is really important, because I understand that. I get that. Just because you weren't in a war-torn country doesn't mean that you have trauma. We all have traumas. So what happens is then we have this trauma event that we've locked away, right? And now we create a blockage or a filter or whatever name you want to call it. So next time we go to do a behavior that maybe had led to that trauma in the past, we go, uh-oh, danger, 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 right? And we change the way we do things. It's now a blockage. It's not safe to do it that way. It's not safe to be involved in that. We have to do things a little differently, okay? And depending on how many experiences we have with similar or like trauma, the more we will try to avoid it. And we can't even see that we're trying to avoid it, okay? So all of these things, they get locked in our system. And the really cool thing is again, getting back to some science-based stuff here, is all these traumas is what we're starting to notice is the essence of the trauma, the essence of the feeling, the essence of the emotion that gets locked in the trauma. We're actually starting to notice that they get specific emotions get stored in specific parts of the body. So that's why through the psychosomatics, we can actually look at the function of the body, look at your shoulder, look at your neck, look at your lower back, look at your big toe on the left foot. And we can start to understand the energy that that part of the body represents. And we can start to break apart the traumas that are stored there, because it's a message to us. It's telling us, hey, this emotion gets locked here, and here's your clue. Okay, so if you break your left toe, that's a clue to what emotions are locked in. Okay, so at looking at those clues, we can start to unravel it. And then of course I have some really cool funky tools that we just get right into the subconscious mind. You don't even have to know what we're talking about. Get right into the subconscious mind and blast them out. So repressed emotions cause stress, which can really shut down your organs. Again, we're talking about depending on which emotion we store them. We all store them in the same part of our bodies. So you store, let's just take fear, in the same part of your body as I store fear, okay? That person over there stores shame in the same part of the body as you do, and it's in the same part of the body as I do. So you see how this all works? It's really cool. So when we, repressed emotions can cause stress, right? That's the whole fight or flight thing. And when you're in that fight or flight thing, what happens is, depending on what you're in, the body will pull blood. It will pull from other parts of the body to make sure that the core of the body survives. Basically, again, your body is this amazing survival tool. Again, a body will give up an arm to save the rest of the body, right? It'll give up a foot to save the rest of the body. It'll give up an ear to save the rest of the body. So stress, which results in fight or flight, can really impact the body quite seriously. Repressed emotions also creates a false belief, false identity, and false realities. Remember how I was talking about when you hit a trauma block and you turn and to go around it? Well, how authentic are you being if you actually are moving around something that you don't even realize is there? How, honestly, how authentic can you be? You're on this path, you're on this momentum, you're on this journey, and all of a sudden, right? And you have to traverse your way around where you were originally going. You might actually end up to where you were going, and that's fine, but you took the long way around, right? So we can shortcut it by getting rid of some of these false filters, getting rid of some of this stuff. I've heard of a client that her birth story was that she made her mom miss a Chinese dinner, right? So here's this woman, and she's walking around the world, you know, trying to do great things, but she's looking for permission from other people because she never got permission from her mom to interrupt her dinner when she was being born, you know? So we carry these false beliefs, something that, you know, she had every right to be born, every right to you know, move forward into the world, but felt as though she needed to ask permission. So kind of cool, kind of interesting, and all these really deep things that happen, and we don't even realize it. So, and then the other part is repressed emotions as a matter of self-protection, and in the desire to create safe space. Repressed emotions can cause weight gain. Anything over 20 to 25 pounds overweight is considered armoring. Okay, it's considered a protection. It's a protective layer between me and that. That out there is unsafe, and I need to protect myself. So we put this layer of armor on, and there's actually a texture to that layer of armor that's actually really interesting. So when you compare people that are overweight and you have, what do you call it? You know, the bumpy skin. You know, you can compare the textures of that skin and see whether it truly is weight or whether it's armoring. Armoring's going to have a firmness to it, like a protective layer. And again, it is a repressed emotion that's saying, hey, that's not safe. I need to protect myself. I'm going to add this layer, this extra layer of armor. That's why a lot of times you hear of when two people decide to get divorced, and maybe after the divorce, each one loses, you know, 30, 40, 50 pounds, right? Because they no longer have to protect themselves from the other person. So they had a layer of armor on because whatever was going on in the relationship, they felt that they needed the protection, and realized at the end of the relationship they didn't. So repressed emotions also limit your ability to your full self-expression, because with them, you know, trying to traverse the blockage, trying to make your way around, it really kind of skews what your beliefs actually are, and your body in all its greatness will create disease to show you what you're missing, to show you the clues, to show you where you need to start paying attention, what repressed emotions are being held. And if you don't know how to read the clues, or you don't know that they're clues, which is what they are, then you're going to miss it altogether. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and compound and impact, and bigger and badder, and so forth. So I think with this information that we can naturally draw some conclusions of how repressed emotion can affect your passion. Because if you are moving towards your passion and you come up to a situation where you go, oh, danger, 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 you're going to do whatever you can to get around it. And maybe there's another block and another block, and all of a sudden you look at it, it's like, oh my God, how come I can't access my passion? I want to do this. I want to be this. I want to, whatever your story is, right? But I can't get there from here, okay? And that will really affect your drive. You're like, oh my God, who am I to, right? How come I think I deserve this? I don't deserve this. Look, universe is showing me I don't deserve this. And then that really impacts your energy. to really go after what you want in your life. And then, of course, you let it go. And that impacts your commitment. So, just want to do a really quick little exercise with you. So when you're starting to feel blocked, when you're starting to feel like you can't do anymore, when you're starting to feel in the face of fight or flight, okay, I want you to do some pace breathing. What we'll do is we'll lower your heart rate, we'll calm you down in the moment so that you can think more clearly. You can look at your blockages. You can look at what does that represent for me? What is that trying to tell me? So pace breathing is a really easy concept, and I suggest you do 5 to 7 cycles, okay? And the idea is we hit the, I'm not going to get the word right, so I'm just going to leave it alone. We hit the nervous system with it anyways. So on the inhale, I want you to count for 5, and on the exhale, I want you to count for 7, okay? Really easy, like really, really easy stuff. Inhale, count for 5, exhale, count for 7. So the idea behind the pace breathing is to your proprioceptive nervous system. Is that what it is? Anyways, for you to affect your nervous system effectively, to calm you down in fight or flight, to calm you down when you're feeling ramped up, to calm you down, to start to feel better, start to feel more in control. The idea is you inhale for a shorter amount of time than your exhale. And like I say, you'll probably start to notice the calming effects after the 3rd or 4th inhale. If that's the case, then take it to 7 inhales and exhales, okay? So really monitor yourself, gauge yourself, and how it's working for you. And if you need to do a few more, do a few more. But really, how long does it take to do, 5 to 7 breaths, right? Less than a minute. So it's really easy. So inhale, exhale. I inhaled for 5, exhaled for 7, and do that 5 to 7 times, okay? So thank you so much for joining me. If you really enjoyed this information and want more energy healing techniques, inspiration, or want to just understand how your body is speaking to you, sign up for our monthly newsletter at ominecahealing.ca. I personally offer free clarity calls. If you want to talk directly to me for 30 minutes for free, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, you can also go to ominecahealing.ca and sign up for my free clarity call. And I'll offer any ideas as we're chatting, and I'll direct you to any free information that I'm aware of. It's our purpose here to support you in your courage and explore the clarity in listening intuitively to the mastery that's already in your own body. And we want you to live full throttle so you can give others permission to do the same. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week, 9 a.m. Thursday morning. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.